Hi, my name is Nick Morris. I'm here at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, bringing you another episode of Tech Talk, sponsored by Geico. Today we're going to talk about the dynamometer, or as everybody calls it, the dyno. The two that we have are basically what is referred to as a chassis dyno, which is where you put the entire motorcycle on the dyno. And really you're measuring the power output after the drivetrain. It's a big difference from the way most manufacturers measure their horsepower and torque numbers. They measure them at the crank on an engine dyno, where just the engine output is dynoed. The chassis dyno works on a drum with a brake on it to simulate loads, and you can change, increase or decrease the amount of load on the bike by changing the amount of brake applied. And what that allows us to do is the dyno becomes a diagnostic tool. We can measure the air fuel ratio. We can measure torque, horsepower. You can even see if a clutch is slipping based on a dyno run. And a lot of that has to do with the brake and the fact that you're measuring drivetrain output. What a dyno basically does is essentially measures torque and then back calculates the horsepower from that. And just in case you were wondering, the mathematical equation for that is horsepower equals torque times RPM divided by the constant. The constant is 5,250. And if you look at any dyno chart, the way to discern whether or not it is a real chart or not, the torque and horsepower lines will cross at 5,250 RPMs every time, no matter what. That's why it's a constant in that equation. And the dyno is doing that over and over and over and over and over and over again, hundreds of times a second, keeping up the calculations for the horsepower. It's a great diagnostic tool. Again, allows us to see all kinds of stuff. Generally, what we use it for is to tune your air fuel ratio, which another component of the dyno is what we call a stack. And basically, it's an oxygen sensor that's hooked into two probes that go into the exhaust pipes. And we measure the amount of air per parts of fuel. Ideally, in an air-cooled engine, 13 and a half to 1 is what you're looking for. And that's basically the best running, best air fuel ratio to go for on an air cooled V twin motorcycle like we tune here. Um, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave me comments in the comments field, or just send me an email at nick@tobaccoroadhd.com. Thanks.